Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's having a great day. That was you, Corbin. Okay. Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's Tuesday. And you know what that means. Yesterday was Monday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. All right. So, hi. I hope everybody's been having a good day. We have been doing pretty good. It has been a hectic week, the last week, and I just needed to retool a little bit and get stuff organized here and finish straightening up. And I've got a second desk area in my studio now, and so that there's the desk that I'm working at generally, and then there's a second area that's got a nice large flat surface, so that I can work on larger pieces there, and I'm pretty pleased about it. And it's also built out of bookshelves, so this tends to be what I do, right? Corbin's with me in the studio. That's always fun. So today's page, mass hysteria, is the one that I was working on yesterday during the stream. It's on a piece of paper that I was testing one of my stencils out on, one of my homemade stencils, and it just sort of did it in a random spot, and nothing came of it. So it's just been sitting in a pile of papers to work on. And yesterday I grabbed a piece of blue cardstock and taped it down, and just worked straight across the top, and pretty straightforward. But I just thought I'd have a little fun with, a little bit of the hip-hoppery. I just thought it just a little fun rhyming, I guess. Just to give it something different as a story direction, as opposed to, describing some great thing. It's hysteria. It's just madness. So there these guys are acting out and starting up, and a big ruckus, carrying on a little bit. I made sure to go through the line art and ensure that everybody was wearing types of bodysuits, so that it wasn't just a bunch of people running around, hello. So, yeah, so this was a fun one to do. There's different types of lettering that I used for it, and monkeyed around with those a little bit, and the S's flipped backwards. I find that kind of fun. But the cutouts, like I cut out the stars into the text, so that as that title overlay went down, then I cut some of it back out, so that the stars that were in the original art underneath, were peeking through it, and carrying over those color values. I find stuff like that fun. So even if you're going to modify something with an overlay, if you could figure out, now if it's traditional, you'd have to figure out some kind of way of resisting whatever the materials that are over top, whether it's stickers or tapes or resists, whatever you might use. But in this case, I because I finished it digitally with the text, I could just erase it out that from that layer. So that's kind of fun. That's part of the joy of doing the two together. Chris says, "Hi there, nice work. I'm about to enter class, so I cannot stay today. See you around." Chris, have a great day. Thank you for stopping in for a sec there. I appreciate that. I've got some books to show. How about you? All right, so look what I found. So I'm a big Douglas Adams fan, and so I've got some Douglas Adams books here to show you. And for those that aren't aware, why would you not be aware? Douglas Adams is the writer of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and so I got a really great biography of Doug Adams written by M.J. Simpson, and I really enjoy it. It's got some different pics of him at work and process. Here's one of the funniest random pieces of information for people. In the recently made, the most recent version of film based on The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it stars Martin and Most Def, and it's so fun. But they go to this planet where there's this entirely religious planet where they believe in the coming of the great Arkle seizure. Their belief is that the planet was accidentally sneezed into existence by God, and so their fear of an apocalypse is the coming of the great Arkle seizure, which is when the universe gets wiped up by a hanky. It's one of those. It's just a ridiculous notion, which is a standard thing for Douglas Adams. But in the film, at this church, they have this nose motif working through all the architecture. So that as they're going down a staircase, the banisters on each floor of the staircase is a big nose. And in tribute to Douglas Adams, who passed away during the making of this film, they used his nose. They had been a life mask made of him during his time here, and so they took that and they blew it up however many times in order to make it to be a 4-foot banister on a staircase. It's the weirdest tribute I have ever heard of, but it's totally fitting for Douglas Adams. So I've got this wonderful collection of all of his writings on A Hitchhiker's Guide. It's the complete Hitchhiker series, which is actually 6 books. So it's got the 5 full novels, and then it's got the additional short stories. So crazy to be able to sit down all in one place and to read the whole thing. And this is very, like I said, I haven't even put it back in right side up. I put it in upside down. But very loved this book. I've read this I don't know how many times. And then as I was out and about with Lori at a dollar store, I found this. Part 6 of 3. Somebody gets it. So this is the and another thing is the conclusion to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy based on Douglas Adams' notes. And so it takes the bonus story here and the last little bits that he had laid out for the one final run. And Eoin Colfer, and people, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but this is the conclusion to everything. And it's great. It's absolutely great. I really enjoyed it. It's the storm had now definitely abated, and what thunder there was now grumbled over more distant hills, like a man saying, "And another thing," 20 minutes after admitting he'd lost the argument. That's even how the title came about. So this is just wonderful, and if you're a Douglas Adams fan, do try to find this. And I'll give you the ISBN for it, if that helps at all. 67888 12670. And I got it for $2 at a Dollarama. So there might be another actual ISBN underneath, but the sticker will be most disagreeable. So anyhow, look this up. Eoin Colfer, I believe it's Eoin. So yeah, that's great. It's so this is all of the Douglas Adams stuff plus a biography about him. And I'm trying to think of I'm not sure the last time I read this, but it includes everything, including his passing away. So wonderful stuff if you're a Douglas Adams fan, to try to find. I'll give you the collection ISBN is 0517 14925-7, and then the biography is 0340 827661. So, if you're a Douglas Adams fan, these might be of interest to you. I've explained about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series before. It is in no surprise whatsoever that Douglas Adams' writings clearly had an effect on me, you know, and just inspired me in so many ways, and it sort of set off a lot of creative thought for me. Like there's just the tiniest things in here. Like there's a thing called the babelfish. It's a little fish. It's kind of like a goldfishy looking thing that you shove in your ear. And when you shove it in your ear, it takes all of the language and all of the sounds that it hears, and it processes it through its body, and it excretes into your head the translation, so that you can understand anything said by anyone or anything in the universe. So it's how hitchhikers can go from whatever planet to whatever planet and understand what the people native to that planet are saying. So that's such a ridiculous idea, but so good. So good. And that's just like a tiny afterthought of an idea in the whole thing. So anyway, so those are the Douglas Adams books that I have been meaning to show you. And I finally got around to. A couple of books I want to show you just for interest's sake. I was looking through this in cleaning up the studio and moving some things around. This popped up on my radar again. This is Otomo Katsuhiro's Akira Club book. And so what this collects is just all kinds of extras. All kinds of Akira extras. Covers for magazines and things. Hiya, Ann. Welcome aboard. It's got... hey, April. How you doing? Colored versions of the art that's in the collected editions and the covers for those. And... you know, I saw this at the store I used to work at, and I missed it. And then I saw it a little while after that at a Chapters Indigo, and I picked it up. And there's no regret on my part for that, because there's so much stuff in here. Like, it's even got pictures from the t-shirts and little magazine ads. This thing has all kinds of bits. But I've always been a fan of Otomo's work, because look at the way that he fades the buildings in. Because the focus is his entire want for focus for you is the character. And this leaves, you know, space for type or space for promotion or whatever it is on this. But just the way, that control of that is fantastic to me. I've always been a fan of his work. And even the most innocuous image it's got something to it. You know, big glob, I don't know. There's the destruction of Neo Tokyo. And you can see the perimeter of the force field explosion type thing. And then look at the machine parts and these crazy bits of the story. Now, a lot of people just write off manga right away, like Japanese comic art. But there's so much interesting stuff going on in this. And, you leaving? Bye, Corbin. Oh, he said his name, now he's staying. Hi, buddy. Okay, so, anyways, I'm a big fan of his work and his ability to put together images and just so much great stuff. But, I mean, look at this machine, this piston-driven machine. You know, nothing of any real significance, and yet the ability by which he's put this together gives you so much more. Hi. Corbin's just saying hi. Yeah, so, you know, there it is. There's the bottom of an airplane. It's just really good work, and big fan of Katsuhiro, and the fact that there's all this extra little bits and bobs. Hiya, Tori. This is ISBN 159307-741-6 is this one. And maybe it's the other Otomo book I got at the... I got one at Chapters and I bought one at the store. Maybe this is the one I got at Chapters. Oh, before we move on to our next book, has anybody seen this? I really appreciate people picking up the new book, and I really appreciate the people that are going on the that have gone on the Amazon site and done reviews. It's really helping out. And I've yet to get a report for how the book's doing, which isn't a big motivator for me. Like, it's, it's would be lovely, but at the same time, I'm just kind of curious, right? But yeah, the reviews that are being left on there, thank you so much. You just touched my heart. So this is a TV show right now, Fallout, without the 4. Fallout is a new TV show on Prime. I think it's on Prime. And I'm not a video game guy, but I collect books on the making of video games, which might not make a lot of sense because there's so much raw creativity, so many things that don't get put into games in the first place, but so many little design elements that you might not even notice were I to play the game. And this Fallout show is phenomenal, but to my understanding, it is really dedicated to the source material, to the video game itself. So this is a book all about the design of the game and the original art that creators are using to put it together. Boy, look at the size of that studio. Woo! Look at all that stuff. So, and it's just the whole inside and outside of the replication of a 1950s Americana motif, even though it's and they held on to that, and the idea is that in this reality that was the sort of benchmark of cultural development for the Americas, and then they just moved forward with nuclear power and all of the ideas of the 50s. They just continue to develop them as opposed to developing things to a point and then moving on. And so they incorporate machine technologies and all kinds of other things, but it's clearly rooted in the atomic mentality of the 1950s imagineering, right? So here's a door-to-door salesman. Here's the fella out of the house, I guess, Big Thumb, being served some coffee by the household domestic robot. Just look at the old style clock on the wall, and there's a decanter, there's the bar. But they got this wall-mounted like there's a camera. That's clearly a camera screen to see who's outside, which is something that didn't come into play until many years later. Anyhow, it talks about all the character development, all the gadgetry that was developed for it, and which is, of course, all of this is in the TV show. And it's just really compelling to see somebody go, well, let me take a look into that. But and they turn these dials in order to tune in, buttons and dials to tune in the information that they want. Such a novelty. And weaponry, and the fact that the main character comes out of a pod at some point, and then the world itself is dystopian on the surface. The idea is that there is a calamity on the surface it's in the atomic age, so the post-atomic conflagration that takes place globally, there's 100 and some odd bunkers underground, and all of these people are in those bunkers. But what isn't realized is that the people that are behind the creation of the bunkers are utilizing a fair amount of them as experiments. Social experiments, chemical experiments, just all kinds of different things, and a lot of it really bad stuff. But the protagonist comes out from one and tries to bring some sense to the world around them. It's really interesting stuff. But the visuals for this, the visual development, is just, I don't know that there's flying airships in it or not, but just the imagineering behind all of this to put all these things together. And of course there's mutant monsters and so on and so forth, but there is not a great picture, but it's a great picture. Really well done image, but of a terrible, terrible thing. So I really like the design of the vehicles and all the effort that was put into this. If you get a chance to see the show, there are some elements to it that are kind of like, there's a guy who's a principal character and a percentage of the program. He doesn't have a nose because he's been around for 200 some odd years. And if you can get past that, you might really enjoy the show, because it's not like your typical completely over the top horrible festival. There's some elements in it that are just, you know, a little bit extra, but I thought it was really, really compelling as a sci-fi. So there's a season 2 that'll be coming out. I'm looking forward to seeing that. But here's some of the design elements and the story process, and here's it. You can play as a male or a female protagonist in the game, and he has a pet dog that he befriends. The dog's name is Dog Meat. You know, and then, I mean, despite the sophistication of some of those images, it cuts back to the simplicity, and yet at the same time, it's rather some rather complex designs, but the simplicity of just using a pen. And I love that. I love that this showcases all of the different applications that were made in the generation of this project. Here's a bunch of scary monsters. I'm not going to show those. But here's some storyboarding. Storyboarding is when you lay out the course of shots for a film, television show, video game, whatever it is. And which is the same, it's just sequential art. And the same as telling a comic story. But really interesting development here. There's a gigantic squirrel. That is a scary squirrel. So, just, you know, and I'm only this thick, this much into a book. Pardon me, this thick. I'm only this thick, folks. Into a book that's that thick. So there's so much stuff in this. Like, I mean, stickers and paintings and logos that are, you know, spread throughout the environment. There's posters, propaganda posters. Just, communism is at your door. Be vigilant, communism is coming. The walls have ears, communists are listening. Like, this 1950s Americana, right? Plutonium Panic, fun for the whole family. It's a board game. Jangles the Moon Monkey, there's a toy. You gotta love this stuff. Blast Radius, fun for the whole family. Hey kids, let's have a game about a nuclear explosion. That's, you know. But the imagination behind all of this is just it's a pleasure. It's so much stuff and so much fun. You know, just, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. So if you get a chance to look at things like this, here's one more and then we'll be done. Pardon me. You're good to go. Gasoline Diesel Fusion from Red Rocket. Isn't that great? There's your robot that fills your gas tank for you at the gas station. You gotta love that. Red Rocket Gasoline, Diesel, and Fusion. For all the different kinds of vehicle images. Nuka-Cola, a pinup lady. Nuka-Cola is what they have instead of another brand. And then more of the pinup lady pictures. It's here's a robot walking dogs. And so it sets up, it goes all out of its way in order to set up this entire world-building experience. And the adventure takes place a couple of 100 years after it. So the lovely, nuclear utopian ideal that's established in all of this information that I was showing you, it's gone. It's all a dystopian viewpoint from that. And so you see the vestiges of all this idealized world throughout the environments of that game and subsequently that television show. I'm really impressed by this. It's so fully conceived and so fully rounded out. And these, there's no slouch. These games don't have tiny teams on them. Here's a photo of the team that put together that game. So we're not talking about one or two people. We're talking about a great deal of people, male and female here, different ethnicities here, but it takes this many people to put together something like this. And, I really got to respect that. Here's the credits. See, here's a Red Rocket gas station. Of course, 200 years later. Bracken, the dead trees. Just you know, a big effort made here, folks. So if you get a chance, you want to check this thing out, you can find it for the ISBN number 978-1-61655-980-9. This is a thick one. This is a big old thick. This is a thick book. And Tori says, definitely going to watch that. Yeah, it is a great, fun show. And it doesn't focus on all of the monsters. It takes its time to introduce the world building and introduce some of the situational stuff that happens and between the human interactions, and then some of these ghoul characters. They're called ghouls because they're people that live, you know, strenuous amounts of time. So hey Yolanda, how you doing? But again, look at all the robot designs, and here's a police officer robot, a worker robot, a doctor robot, and a firefighter robot. And what is it? Protectron. Just good fun. But this is the book on the design of Fallout. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about, the Fallout show. And really, I enjoyed it. And so I had this art of book on the shelf, and I just thought I'd show you guys that today. And you know, maybe Netflix will pay me some money for telling you, or I guess it's not even them, it's Prime that show's on. So and Yolanda says, I just finished watching the Netflix series and I really enjoyed it. Oh yeah, good stuff. I really did. And for a person who doesn't play video games, and you know, everybody, like I said earlier on, everybody that does so said that the adaptation was pretty on point. Now, in the next season, you'll see more of the creatures and more of the deviations of different people, like because of nuclear poisoning and mutations, and you'll see a little more of that jazz, I think they said in season 2. But for season 1, it was all about the world building aspect of it, and little glimpses at stuff, and dog meat, and the occasional giant bug thing, you know. But I really enjoyed it. So if you get a chance, give it a look. Yolanda says, I don't know much about the game. You and me both. I've got a whole bunch of design of video game books that I can show people if you're interested. I don't play games, but I love the art of books, and so those I buy on a regular basis at the shop I worked at. So yeah, I really like that sort of stuff. I've even got an art of Batman video games book, and because of the gothic motif in the designs of the environments are so cool in that. But I'm not a big Batman guy. I think he's a fetishistic fascist, but the designs in that thing and the environments are just phenomenal. So okay, so thanks for coming and hanging out, everybody. Let's check off the page from today that I showed, Mass Hysteria, and thank you, Jim, for that suggestion. And let's see what else we got going here. Well, here's one from Anne. It's a maitre d' at McDonald's. I don't think I'll use this surface for it, but let's write it down here. A maitre d' at McDonald's. There's a great movie called Folks with Tom Selleck and Donna Meachie. Every now and then the dad looks at his son and goes, "Sonny, boy, my boy," because he's got Alzheimer's. And Tom Selleck's moved home to take care of his parents. And every now and then the dad just looks at him and he says, "Dad, I don't know what I'm doing about money." And the dad always goes, "McDonald's." He goes, "Dad, I don't want to take you to McDonald's again." He's talking about, you know, the McDonald's aircraft company. He's got stocks in it. So good. So this is Anne's suggestion. So this is what we're going to do today. And thank you for the suggestion, Anne. A maitre d' at McDonald's. So I've got some different jelly plated surfaces here. some of it's a little rough and tumble, so let's try to find something that's, you know, interesting and yet not, you know, a completely bonkers thing to work on. It's just kind of a weird pattern, but that could be something that we start with, which has a really, really, you know, interesting underlying color for the page. Yolanda says, fun suggestion, Anne. Yeah, oh yeah, Anne's got some great ideas. And people, you're always welcome to put forward new suggestions and ideas if you want to throw something at me. Challenge! You know, I'm open. I'm game. Yeah, it's a lot of darker colors. Oh, here we go. We can also do it on this one. This is an envelope that there's the seam in the center that I printed on. And then I put some of this tissue paper with a fish print on it, and I stuck that down across the center as well. Why? Because we can. So if there's a preference, and if you're still here, if you got a preference for which one of these we'll work on, you get to pick. And I got, as soon as you start going through, you start thinking about ideas on what you can do with that. You know, that suggestion right off the hop. I love the idea of a maitre d' at McDonald's. It says, I don't care, you pick. Okay, well, then let's go with the fish. Just because, you know, there's the fish there. So I'm going to do a video and put it up in the community thing on YouTube to show, I mean, if people aren't okay with me moving a camera for a second, I can show you now. But no, it's too difficult. Where my desk is along the one wall in my studio. And my desk is 10 feet long. No, actually it's 9 feet. I measured it. It's about 9 feet. And I've got the bookshelves in behind me along this wall. But the studio, because this used to be our family room, it's 16 by 22. And so it contains, you know, all of my books, the library part of things, and it contains the studio part of things. And then I have a lounge area at the far side for chillaxing, for reading and doodling, right? But I built a second desk that's it's about 4 feet by about 3 feet, and just over here, I'm going to move the camera, and please bear with me. So there you can see the other side of the room, and the lounge area is on the opposite side of this little half wall, which is this other desk that I've just put into the studio space. And that way, and the reason I did that is so that I can work on some jelly plating and do some stuff like that, because my desk itself is, I've got 3 monitors, the one of which is on an angle so that I can actually draw digitally on it and do stuff digitally. And I've got a scanner and a printer and that along my desk. The majority of my desk is taken up, and there's only really about 2 by 4 workable space in this whole or 1.5 by 4 workable space in this entire desk. So that's why I put the other one together, so that I can do some more jelly printing and and mixed media stuff over there, and larger drawings. I've got a few bigger drawings that I'm doing right now, and so it just gave me a little bit more definable space, and I'm actually utilizing the studio space overall in a much more efficient way. But that couch, I've been wanting to move it for a couple weeks. It's been really annoying me, but it's just too big and heavy, and because I blew my wrist out, I couldn't lift it anyways. But yeah, so I just left it with a side table, or the side chair for it, and there it is. Yolanda says lounge area, nice. Yeah, it's a nicer area for when Lori comes down and joins me in the studio. than art stuff being all around her all the time. So we can sit over there and do stuff because she's helping me. We'll be putting out a press release tonight for the book and sending it out to quite a few places. So she's going to help me with all that. So when she comes down, she gets to sit in a nice area and surrounded by bookshelves. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bookshelves in this room, and they're all different sizes. My new craft room, I hope to have stations for different media. Yeah, it's a really smart way to go about it. And I've got the old station against the wall there with the countertop, and that's where I got all my art supplies and things. And that's this area, and it's got all the different things. I've got part of this swinging around, so that's on the opposite side of the room, right, with all of that storage. And then now I've got this working area, in addition to, where I am now. So, yeah, it's a feel-good thing. Behind me, I got a whole bunch of stuff that I've got to organize, and I got to organize in a much more effective way for mixed media and stencils and different tools and things like that. So I'm figuring it out. Coach, we're happy to sit and visit while I art. Love that. I love that idea. Hopefully Lucy will look at Coach too. There you go. Corbin is sleeping directly beside me on his stool. His stool has to be beside me where I'm sitting. So when I get up, I have to step over the cat. And it's 2 feet tall, his stool, so I have to step over it. But it's literally in the center of the aisle behind my desk here. It's exactly in the center. Couldn't be any more in the way if you tried. So Corbin's got his spot over here, and he has his other little raised two-tier sleeping thing. He has another one of those on the other side of the room. So cats in our house are spoiled. All right, so here we go. We got our page for today, and Yolanda says Corbin is adorbs. Nothing. He's sleeping. I can try to show you him sleeping. He sleeps like this, where he covers his face up. Like the shadow. Who knows what evil lurks in the heart of men? Corbin knows. All right, so we've got this surface to work on. Our suggestions from Anne today. It's a maitre d' at McDonald's. Is that in camera? We'll move it down. There we go. So there's our suggestion for today, a maitre d' at McDonald's. And here's our working surface that we have. So there's a good wedge of space, 2/5 up here at the top, 1/5 band across the center, and 2/5 here at the bottom. There's a slight discoloration up the center from where that fold is in the envelope that this was printed on. And there's some brayer off that's going on here that gives us this fun little cut off texture and stuff like that. We'll try to use some of that jazz. But let's figure out where we're going to go with this. I'm going to get all this big old pile of heavy books on here. So let's see. Thursday night, I will be on the Artscasters. I think it'll be on Scott Circlin's channel. And so if you look up CircWorks Art Lab on the interwebs, the U of tubes, or Joshua no, it wouldn't be on Josh's. I think Josh has already had his just on this month. Anyhow, so Thursday night I'll be chatting with the fellas there about the new book, and we'll talk about. Anne says maybe a sommelier as well. Oh, that's so great. Let's put maybe a. And thank you for spelling it. There we are. We'll put that down. So yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And on Saturday morning, I'll be joining Mr. Paul Pate, and on his Saturday morning cartoons stream that he does, and I'll be joining him, and we'll be chatting about my book and his upcoming book. I'm a big fan of Paul's books, and he says this one's only 200 pages. 200 pages is a massive amount of pages. But, yeah, so we'll be chatting that up and seeing what we think of that. I'm trying to figure out what to draw with. All right, do you work? Will you work on this? Not so much. Okay. I've got some different pens, and I got pencil crayons. Let's try a pencil crayon today. It's gonna be different because I'm doing a pencil crayon on this already dark surface, but we're gonna give it a go. Yeah. Okay. So let's start off with. I'm trying to think what outfits they wear at McDonald's. It'd be fun if they had like a cooler design to it, where the little hats and tip caps, but we're gonna start off with your goofball teenager, sir. So we'll start with that. Give him a drowsy eye. Is that okay? You can see that. So I'll come in with this, and I got what do we got nearby? A post-it. Who's this? Ronald McDonald. There you go. I knew a guy named Robert McDonald, and people called him Ronald McDonald. That's cool. It's just not nice. But yeah, Ronald McDonald. Yeah. He's really funny. He clearly didn't appreciate being called, Ronald McDonald, but he knew there's nothing he could do with it. People are going to call him that anyways, because, kids are cruel and imaginations are limited. Sounds like Ronald McDonald. Yeah. Right. There's a character on a show called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and there's a character called Mac. Everybody calls him Mac, and nobody really knows his full name until a few seasons into the show, and they've been friends for like 20 years. And then they find out his name is Ronald McDonald, which is why he goes by Mac. And just funny, because here's a character who's always trying to be macho. And yeah, Ronald McDonald. And the thing about that is that if you're born before the 1950s, before that chain of restaurants took off, I can see you get named Ronald McDonald. But if it's in the 70s or something like that, and that there's Ronald McDonald, marketing this company, don't name your kid that. Hi, Maritza, welcome aboard. Okay, so here is our teenager, and we'll have a little bit of fun with him here. Give him some acne. We've already given him that disenfranchised look. But the reason that I'm using this kind of a look with these eyes is that I want him to have that, sir, where can I sit here today? It's kind of a look, right? So, I hope everybody's having a good week. I hope everybody's been, having, good things happen to you and your folks. And I served at a church yesterday. We were, we were presenting a dinner to people that can use a hand. And I saw something so uplifting at it. There was this family, and the mom and dad are having a hard time, and they've got 4 little ones, And so we're presenting everybody with chili, and she asked if they could take some with them. And so I said, can I pack up some of this to go for this? And she says, well, who's it for? And I said, I said, it's for somebody at the back table. She goes, oh yeah, sure. And she gives me this box. And then she goes, which table? And I went, it's the family in the corner. She goes, put a lot more in that. And it just touched my heart. I just thought, oh, these people are fantastic here. So then we had to double up the container because it was so full. I'm like, this is, good people when they're doing something like that. So I was really happy to get to know folks. Because sometimes when it comes to serving in public, some people just go through the motions. But April says that she's been good busy, but good busy. I like good busy. That sounds good. Good busy. It could be bad busy. Bad busy, you probably misspell it because you got so much going on, you type it too quick. But good busy. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what to do with this. I'm going to give him a bow tie. And, hi, Dee Dee, welcome aboard. Thank you once again, Dee Dee, for your kind words about the book and for showing that. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. I'm hearing people are getting their copies now, and that makes me very happy. So, I know it takes a couple of days extra because it is a hardcover format for printing, but I appreciate everybody that's patiently waiting for their order. That's so cool. Okay, so here is our disenfranchised teen maitre d'. And just April says, yeah, we don't want bad busy. Yolanda says, my copy is supposed to arrive on Friday. Oh, super cool, super fun. Oh, I hope you like it. Okay, so we've got him started. So I'm going to come in here with Polska, and I'm going to let you all in on a little secret here. I didn't know about Polska pens until a certain Mrs. Willingham there told me about you should get some Polska pens. And I can tell you how much paint's in a Polska pen, because I've been using them a fair amount. Just April says you're gonna love it. Oh, thanks, April. So nice of you. I appreciate April's review on the Amazon page. I'm not good at all this promotion, publicity stuff. I just, here's the thing. But, I really appreciate everything everybody's doing. And we are going through putting together the second one for the end of the year. We're going to have a second one out by the end of this year with same size, 80 more pages. And if there's any pages that we've done in the last year or so that it wasn't included in the first book that people would like to see, we could try to do something with in the new book, let me know. This whole book should be nothing but my suggestions. Anne calls, Dee Dee says that Polskas are awesome, and then Anne calls Dee Dee the great enabler. You can draw them on your jelly plate. They are awesome, Dee Dee. Yeah, the Polskas are great in that you can draw on so many things. I know I tend to do a couple different weird little things. Like, I tend to smash mine with the tip of my finger as I'm putting it down, so I can control how opaque it is. Like, I can pull, because I want some of this color from the jelly plate, to come through. I don't want to lose that, and so I'll reduce back some of the paint I've put down by just lifting it off with the tip of my finger. But that just gives you a little bit more that you can do with your application that way. So yeah, Thursday night with the Artcasters guys, and then Saturday morning with Mr. Pate, and then there's a couple of more things that I'll be announcing for next week as well, and I just don't want to overwhelm people with too many things. But Paul Pate and I talking about something in a stream together. It's gonna be really serious. April says I just want to play into paint. She's not entirely wrong. I'm gonna play on Jelly Plate tomorrow with baking tools. Oh, hello. That sounds like fun. That sounds like good fun. And then she's gonna make everybody have to go to Devon. Challenge. Okay, so here's our young Mater D. Here's our young man in here. Bring this up just a little bit there. Okay. And so I'm going to add a little bit to some of these areas. I just want to hit them with the Posca white, and of course I can put some value, put some color to them after that. But what are my prompts today? Today's prompt is a Mater D at McDonald's, and maybe a sommelier too, and that's suggested by Anne. So here's our Mater D. Now the question becomes, do we put him in a regular McDonald's, or do we try to make it like an upscale McDonald's, like the Taco Bell joke from the film Demolition Man? In the future, in this Demolition Man film, all the restaurant chains were destroyed except for Taco Bell. Which is such a dumb thing. What do you post? Want to watch? Yep, there you go. Okay, so we'll put him in his outfit here, and let's give him his hands forward as though he's doing this action. Yes, And how can I help you today? Welcome to McDonald's. It's just something fun, right? Nice, those fingers together. So I'm building the structure of the hand. Whoops, I'm so sorry, I moved out. I'm building the structure of the hand as I go down. A nice red McDonald wave. You know what? I think that we have the technologies to do that. So what I'll do is let's put it in with Posca white so I can get that red to pop. And but that's great. That's a lot of good fun. That's a great suggestion. Do we give him the nose? Does he need the nose, folks? Everybody, you have, if you want to decide if he has the nose or not, just let me know. Hey everybody, Jim Winans joined. How you doing, sir? There's actually a page in the new book that has Paul Pate and Jim in a story. The poor fellows were actually put in the story. You know, playing these certain characters. And it was done with love. There you go. There we go. So we'll put, there's his Ronald McDonald way. So the question is, does our maitre d' at McDonald's need a red nose? Or do we just, or when I'm coloring the skin, do I just, you know, drop some red on that nose so it stands out that way without being so opaque as to have a red clown nose on? And says I like his nose. Yeah, so let's try that. Let's just do what I was referring to. Okay, so here is our young man. Let's give him the name tag, and then I'm going to make a note right here at the top. Todd. So we'll put Todd on his name tag. I hear blows in their hearts in that voice. Oh, there you go. He looks like he smelled something awful. Let's do a reservation for the restaurant. See, we're very busy today. Now, I gave him the striped tie and the striped bow tie. So I'm going to take it easy on his jacket. But we'll give him some white sleeves. So the stamped fish that's going to be moving through the center of the page, Dee Dee sent me a whole bunch of stamped things and a whole bunch of surfaces. And this tissue paper was in there, and so I incorporated it into this page, and so it cuts right across like a third of the page, a third of the pages, or a fifth of the page's height. So it's just a nice fun break. And the reason I picked this, of the choices that we had for today for a Gelli image, is that of course the special today is fish. That's literally what went through my head as I saw this, is that we have to have the special today is fish. He looks like he smelled something awful. Yeah, probably the food at McDonald's. Sometimes, I don't know what it is, but when you go to McDonald's, sometimes the smell of the food just hits you. McFish. McFish, says Dee Dee. There you go. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm loving that. That's great. Okay, and we've got pinky out. Always got to put the pinky out. Little piece of refinement. And then we'll move this right down into the lower area. Can you see the pink? Oops, I'm sorry. Can you see the pinky out? There we go. Representing the famous McDonald's fish sandwich. See, now maybe part of the fun is trying to describe McDonald's food with some measure of refinement. That might be some fun. And at completely ridiculous prices, of course. This is an upscale McDonald's. It says, oh, this is going to be good. Or April says this is going to be good. And it says, perfect. Oh, that's great. So I hope everybody's having a great day. And keen to see what people are working on. I'm going to try to get myself a few moments after I'm done today and go and take a gander. And before I make a nice dinner for Lori tonight, gave her, what would you like to request? And she says, we haven't had chicken in forever. She said it really dramatically. It was so great. Okay, so here is our young man. So because of the, maybe it's because I printed and rolled this onto mailing envelope, but it doesn't let you blend the color, the paint very well. So, Anne says beef tartare on a sesame on a sesame bun. This afternoon we'll be serving our finest McQuail eggs. Why not? All right, so behind our young man, I'm going to put in, up above Todd, the television screens for ordering food in the background. And so we'll put that up there. Sorry, Todd, your name is gotta go. And in the background, we can draw in a McFlurry machine or whatever. We'll put some of that business on the counter here. Jim says, I think we need a question of the day. I think it's time. Yes, Chris? That's my really bad impression of Jim right now. Give it, Jim. What do you got? So I'm just drawing in some of the countertop accoutrement. Let's branch. I feel like I need to give him little stickers or buttons, like doll stickers or things on him. Looks like a Twilight Zone type host, doesn't he? Okay, so we'll put this in. Fill this full of cups. A cup dispenser along the side of it. What do we got? Yolanda says, would you like McD special sauce or some Grey Poupon? There's so many great. Okay, what do we got? We got a beef tartare on a sesame bun. We've got, I'm writing these down right now, beef tartare on a sesame bun. And we've got special sauce or Grey Poupon. Or Grey Poupon, or as we like to call it, Poupon. If you could choose a new Olympic sport, what would you create? It's a good question. It's a good question. That is a good question. Fillet of mystery fish. Okay, these are good. Keep them coming. If you guys got more you come up with, by all means, shout them at me. You know who he actually kind of looks like? He kind of looks like Alex Winter, the director and producer and Bill S. Preston from the Wild Stallions, from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's who he reminds me of. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what do they have back there behind the counter at McDonald's? Let's see if I can find something here. Just can't think of what's on their counter. So I've typed in McDonald's counter. Hey, with the sort of renovating things to look like things buzz that goes on in the world right now, has anyone renovated their house to look like a McDonald's? Whatever, Okay, I've got it. Here we go. I'll put the ice cream machine in. I forgot about the ice cream machine. Everyone's disappointed in me, I know. Oh, this is, I think I'm doing the pop machine first. Just populating the background with behind the counter at a McDonald's. Okay, so Jim's question of the day is, if you could choose a new Olympic sport, what would you create? Hold on, let me ask that dramatically. If you could choose a new Olympic sport, what would you create? Right in the mic. How was that? It was too loud. That was unnecessary. It was so loud. So here's the refreshment machine. Not a straight line in the bunch. Okay, so there's that. Belly flop. That was a perfect ASMR. Herding cats. Herding belly flop is an Olympic and a new Olympic sport. New Olympic sports. Let's write this down. Belly flop. It's just so good. And then we've got herding catch, which is so good. I call that raising children. Excellent. If you could choose a new Olympic sport, what would you create? Oh, that's a great question. So just a random thing. If you're drawing something, a pattern that goes through the back, like I'm drawing the different sized cups now, right? Don't start it beside what's in the foreground. Let the thing that's in the foreground overlap, because it helps to cement that this is in front of that, because it's broken into something in the background. Over there would be a splash scale. There we go, writing that down. That's a good one. I like that a lot. Okay, so I'm just putting a freezer in there. So here's some of the stuff I'm trying to design in behind our young person. A sumo belly flop. There you go. Too good. Splash scale for the Olympics. I love it. Depending on how they flop, right? Like what the splash rating is. So good. Well, he really went for it there, Hopper. He got himself a good 7.5. We'll see how it goes with the judges. I love announcers on things like that. I love, well, here comes the contestant from Belgrave. Interesting story for the young man at Belgrave. His shoes are made out of actual tires. And then you always got the other person who goes, I did not know that. Like he's just so uninformed. I love announcers in programs like that. Okay, hold on. I got to write this down. Radius. Everybody's building off each other. It's great. Height of splash. Style. There we go. Water displacement scale. Oh, so good. What about costume? What about costume for the ultimate belly flop? I think dressage is an important part of this. And here comes 422-pound Chuck Wilkins from America. He is wearing a fantastic ballerina costume there. You know, just come on. How red? Okay. How Tori. How red the belly. Oh, that's good fun. Yeah, I'm gonna add dressage. That's my addition to this. Surprised he got in that costume. How about you, Bill? Oh yeah, I am as well. I wasn't sure if it was a costume or if it was painted on. It's very tight. You do so many things. So here is your sale sign over the shoulder. And a bit of text running along the bottom here. And that's hanging below our menu. And then the menu will have a number of items. I might just white it out, play with something. Tori says, oh my gosh, I gotta sketch this too. Yeah, any of the great ideas that and suggestions that people are giving on this stream, I encourage everybody, have fun, go for it. If you hear something that you think, I want to do that, go do it. Go do it. I love to see it. I love the different interpretations of the same ideas that we all come up with. So again, the reason that I'm putting the white down and then pushing it back a little bit at the exact same time is so that we get some of these, these values and these marks through. Because I like what they add to the overall image. Just let those things ride through. Why not? So here's the menu up behind him. And so I will find an actual McDonald's menu, and we'll make a mess out of that. Up behind old Todd here. But I love the idea of him dressed up, and as his officiousness as a maitre d', and the background, of course, is your stereotype McDonald's. So I like that kind of thing in a story. That's just weird enough to be in my wheelhouse. My house of wheels. You know what I mean? So there's our sign behind him. And then we'll put in a little bit for some of these machines and so forth. So this is masking tape here that I have put in this monkeyed around, jelly plated and brayer off surface. Still stick some tape in there just to, I don't know, challenge myself a little more. How do I incorporate this into things? Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Tori sketch. That one looks like it really hurt. Oh, that's so good. Oh, yeah, you got that. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect, Ann, because then you've got the different, the two commentators, and you're like, well, here he goes, Cotton. Oh, that looked like it really hurt. Oh, that's so good. I'm gonna write down just a second. So here's behind the counter. We're getting this in now. So rather than just coloring the whole thing in a flat value, I'm just finding some of the contour of it. Let me write this down before I forget. That looked like it really hurt. In case you were worried that I don't have organized notes, look at this absolute chaos. Oh boy. I don't know if he's going to be able to read that. I mean, the first part of the competition to see if he can read his own notes before he tries to draw the competition. Okay, so here is our next machine. Yolanda says, I have to go take Lucy to get her nail trim. Thanks for the fun, Christopher. Have a great day. You as well. I have to run too later, guys. Yes, thank you very much as well, Dee Dee. That's super cool, you guys coming out. Appreciate that, gang. Okay, so here is our background coming together. cups. Each one has to be a little bit larger than the one before it. Here we go. Anne says, my father used to watch sports with the sound muted. Is that right? I think my grandfather did as well. He'd watch wrestling, you know, back in the 70s, and he'd stand there with a pouch of drum tobacco and ashtray and, you know, a glass of beer or whatever up on top of a dresser that he had a little 10-inch black and white television on, and that's how he would watch. He enjoyed watching wrestling. That's how he'd do it. But he'd stand there, you know, leaning on the dresser and watching it. And, oh, there he goes, and he'd do a little jig, and, you know, hey, what are you doing? Put that guy down, you know. It's just April says, you still yell at. Oh yeah, no, they have to yell at it. I was invited to a wrestling night. Someone I used to work with. I was so boring because I'm like, this is very similar to the gladiator pits in Rome, because I am a nerd, and I, you know, and if this old brain never shuts off there, so I'm like, oh, I love this contestation between the two of them. Who's going to win the pennant? It wasn't quite that bad, but you get the gist. All right, so let's finish up over his shoulder on this side, and we'll carry it through to the edge of this image. Okay, so what else can we do? Let's do one more tall machine, and then a thing that they put orders through in the center area. It draws a better straight line by moving the page on a diagonal. Okay. I went a little bit into that area. We'll clean that up in 2 seconds, huh? Yeah, we'll come in with some pencil crayon here. Yeah, feels a little flat and wobbly to me, but we'll get that sorted out. Okay, so here is our behind the counter at McDonald's. Okay, I'm going to come in this black pencil, and we'll put in a slightly heavier line here. Okay, so here's our Todd, and Todd is our assistant to the junior manager. So I'm just carrying, whoops, I'm sorry, I went off camera. So I'm just carrying over these lines where I'm, you know, putting in the different cups and etc., etc., etc. There we go. Okay, so yeah, here's our first guy. I'll pull it so we can take a look at it. Got some great suggestions to build on. So okay, so here's our top. He looks utterly disgusted with his job. Oh, you gotta appreciate how much he must enjoy being the maitre d'. Where's that? Oh, that sounds like a cool job. Where do you work? McDonald's. That'd be great. Okay, so here's our first panel. So the idea that I've got moving forward, and let's just expedite this process and put it down on paper. That's why I keep these sheets of paper like this, you know, for roughing things out for folks. All right, so if our page, am I in camera? I'm in camera. If our page is like so, all right, and we know that in the center third, we've got the fish, and here I'll zoom in so you can see this a little clearer. Apologize. Okay, so we know we've got our fish here. Now, in the top of the page, in the first half of the upper area, we've got our guy with his fish. And then I think what I'd do is 2 panels here. And the reason that I would utilize 2 panels here is that this one, so the idea here is menus, you know, like how many menus, how many will be joining your party? It picks up, you know, the follow me please type thing. And so I thought one of the things that we could do for fun is to have him walking through the environment holding said menus. But the idea would be that everybody at the tables would be the cliche McDonald's, you know, the customer base where, you know, there's a McDonald's that the last time I went to one, because I don't really go, but there was a lot of your stereotypical people that eat at McDonald's, and I want to populate the restaurant with those people and have the maitre d' and the sommelier who's going to come in and have those people with this really refined states, but they're working at a McDonald's, you know, and it's McDonald's customers. I find things like that to be the right kind of amount of realistic and the right kind of amount that's like a balance for absurdist, and I tend to be somewhat absurdist. Hold on, I'll do it as ASMR for Yolanda. I tend to be somewhat absurdist. I learned I could do that recently. Okay, so you know, we'll put the regular customers in here, and then so the next would be, you know, telling the specials. We can have you know, specials today, and we can have this text carry the story along and work it, intersperse it with the images. So we've got a piece of space here, we've got some space in here and here over on this side, so we can continue some dialogue across that. So even though it's a static panel, you know, at the same time we can by having him shifted down like this, imply some movement, and then by interspersing the text with that, gives it some action. So we'll do that there, and then see, do I want to show the participant though? I think I'll have him holding out a chair, you know, and offering, can I tuck your chair in, please, Mom? You know, and April says, and we may need to reevaluate. So I like going to McDonald's too, don't get me wrong, but you know, I mean, when you go to McDonald's, nobody dresses up in a suit to go to McDonald's, right? Oftentimes, if we're doing yard work or we're doing whatever, that's the time you end up at a fast food place. So seldomly is somebody going into a fast food place with the most refined aesthetic that they've ever presented. So, you know, I'm throwing myself, oh, you gotta have screaming kids. Thank you, Anne. Let's have some kids, screaming kids in the background here. Okay, and then as he's pulling a chair out, and wine, we have to offer the wine. And then we'll say, we'll have the wine menu, and then we'll have him raise his hand, you know, doing one of these, snapping, and then along comes the sommelier, which is just like the tip of hat for absurdity at this point, because to have a sommelier coming over and we'll have him holding a large bottle of wine in his hands, I just, that's kind of like the icing on the ridiculous cake here, because here's this person going, hey, good evening, and how may I help you with your choices? I love silly business like that, So Anne says some not so happy meals. There you go. Well, why don't we try to include the happy meals in the presentation here? That we are offering happy meals at this point to all ages. Just something silly. And why don't we do that? Because that's the kind of thing that just little tidbits of the actuality, little tidbits of the thing that we're referring to. But to finish it off by drawing in the sommelier, and have him snapping for him like, come along, these people are waiting for their wine choices. That makes me giggle. I don't know about the rest of you, but if I can make myself giggle, I'm happy. I'm a happy monkey. Okay, so we've only got so much of this page, all right, and I think that what I'll do is that I've got a sheet of legal paper. I think I might incorporate this lined legal notepad paper. I don't know if you can see the light blue line moving across it, but I think I'll incorporate some of that into the overall composition, and just so that we have some more space for drawing on, so we're not trying to ham everything into a small amount of space. And that way we can have, because I did the 4 panels along the bottom today on today's page, the mass hysteria page, and I don't want to replicate myself. So let me think about those bottom panels, but I think I might play with the shapes of the panel to take it from these static positions like so, and to consider breaking it by having him go, follow me, in this panel here, and then have, because that way as I have him walking along with the menu, if I move this down actually right here and then having him move across the space, what I can do here is I can draw more activity going on at different tables behind him. So we might, so I'm not going to exactly work in this static format. And then we've got our fish moving across here, right? And then we can go into the smaller spaces down below, pulling out of the chair, the wine menu, the snap for the garçon, and the sommelier. I think it might be fun to put another panel across the bottom space. And this isn't, I'm just putting boxes, but it doesn't mean they're closed panels. A box around is a closed panel. No box. Hey, I'm a happy stick man. That's not a closed panel. So the only 2 choices. Okay, so, all right, Anne. There are only 2 choices, red or white. I think the sommelier should present them in boxes. So when the sommelier comes up, I think I'll have him carrying a box in either hand. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, for your wine selection. And there he is. You got 2 choices, red or white. Is there a trolley he brings thing on? So I like that idea. So maybe we'll have the sommelier, and he's got a trolley in front of him. Okay, little wheels, and then there's the 2 boxes. And we'll have one red and one white. And here comes our sommelier. And of course he'll have to have this little mustache. little hook whisker at the end. We'll have to be doing that with him. So there's our sommelier. So our suggestion for today's page comes from Anne. Where did I put? Oh, I'm using that paper. And the suggestion is a maitre d' at McDonald's. And then the secondary part she added to it is, and maybe a sommelier too. So this is some fun. This is some good fun. I think that we've got. Hold on, I'll get back to it. I think we've put together some good structure here for this, and to introduce these different elements. I like the idea of adding a panel at the bottom, and just having a little punchline there with the sommelier at the bottom. That to me just feels like that might be a bit of fun there. That last suggestion with the trolley is a great suggestion, Troy. Thank you. And of course the wine choices are brilliant. Lids to present the meal. Okay, well unfortunately we're not going to even get to presenting the meal yet, because all we've done so far is have the maitre d' brought them to the table, and the sommelier is going to present the wine choices, and that's really where, we've run out of time. If it was more pages, I mean, you could have the whole presentation of the meal and the whole sketch, and have somebody come over with a ukulele and may I play some dinner music? Yeah, just you could do so much more with more pages. I love these ideas though, and it's the kind of thing that when one person suggests it, I just saw myself play ukulele on the screen and I looked ridiculous. When one person suggests something, by heavens, if anybody feels so inspired, please explore it. Explore it yourselves. Allow yourself however much room you want, multiple page story, whatever it is, and play with that and explore that idea and see how far you can take it, so that automatically it's going to be your own. It's not going to be the same as what I might do or what the next person might do, because you're bringing your own, shall we say, secret sauce to the equation. And there's all kinds of different things that can come from that. There's all kinds of different approaches that you'll take, or pieces of information that you're going to add that the next person might not have thought of. Tori says, I'm sketching the belly flop guy. Oh, that's good fun. That's good fun. I have written down all of these notes about the new Olympic sports from the suggestion of the day from Jim, and then there's Tori, and there's Anne, and April was throwing some stuff in there, I think, as well. Yeah, so I think so. Well, oh, and yeah, Yolanda was as well. Yeah, so let's I'll credit everybody. That's a whole smorgasbord of people that like at McDonald's. But yeah, I'll write that down in the book, and maybe that's another fun one that we can do. But yeah, by all means, like the Olympic sport story idea, brilliant, right? Chase that one down. I look forward to seeing what you come up with there, Tori. And then if you want to try this maitre d' at McDonald's, or the page I posted for today, which was mass hysteria. This was, whatever you're going to come up with is going to be your own approach and difference to it. But by all means, any of these ideas, Chase. Oh yeah, and Dee as well. I'm so sorry. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, and share them. I'd love to see those. And there's so many people out there that enjoy these sorts of stories. You can have. So here's the thing. You can have a round table of people, and at that round table of people, a friend was telling us about this last night. She went to a painting group, and everybody in the room was to paint the same view, and not a one of those paintings looks the same. Well, that's how it is with telling story. That's how it is with creating images, is that everybody's going to do it in their own unique way, and that's what makes it so special. So, okay, I think I got a great structure here for what we're going to do with our page. We got a great start to it. My goodness, I've already got 2 panels done. Okay, that was cheap. and I'll get this stuff put together, and I'll get our page posted for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be earlier. Tomorrow I think I'll be around noon for the stream. So just because I've got stuff in the morning, and I've got to go pick up my mom from the hospital appointment that she's at and bring her home. So yeah, so tomorrow I will be showing up at noon and doing my stream then, and so I hope to see you then. But in the meantime, get out there, get creating. I'd love to see what you're going to do. Tori says, thanks, Lois. Christopher, take care. Oh, thank you so much, Tori. Brilliant. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.